Well, good evening, everyone. It is 31 minutes past 8 o'clock in East Africa. You all welcome to this evening, um, the Youth Campus Project, Investing in Your Destiny with Trevor Waldop. We are so privileged to have all of you in your different capacities. My name is Ivan Kalema, and I'm so privileged to um, host this program together with Trevor Waldock. And without wasting any more time, let us put our hands together as we welcome Trevor, who's, for all of us know, he's been training us for the last couple of times about investing in your destiny. Let us put our virtual hands together. If possible, you also give them a virtual standing ovation. Thank you. Over to you, Trevor.
Great. Well, thank you. And thank you very much to Ivan and the team once again. You are great examples of really solid, faithful, committed service. So thank you so much, guys, for all that you do to make these Wednesday evenings happen. So we're here. This is session number 8 of 12 of the Youth Campus Project Masterclass. Why do we do this? If you think every day of your life, you are making investments. You already today, you will have made investments. You will have spent time talking with certain people. You will have spent time on maybe your phone, your smartphones. You will have spent some time working. And at work, you will have spent time talking and making decisions. All the time, we are making these investments in different parts of our life. And all of those investments add up like financial investments. The money adds up in a bank account. Well, the daily investments that you and I make in our life each day, they also add up, and it's called your destiny. Your heart, so what you invest in your heart, meaning who does your life exist for? And what you invest in terms of your legacy, what will outlive you, and your character, what shapes you, what's important to you, what matters to you. All of these things we're investing in every day. And every day people are looking at you and they're making a judgment about you saying, this is what is important to this person. They're only interested in themselves, or they're only interested in money, or they're only interested in cheating other people, or they're always interested in being kind. They're always interested in serving others. They're always interested in how they can contribute to the benefit of other people's lives. So all of us are doing this every day. We're investing in our heart and character one way or the other. And all of that adds up to your destiny. So we have used Nelson Mandela as a role model for our thinking here. So Nelson Mandela became that great person because of the investments he made every day. For 15, 20 minutes every day, he would stop, he would pause, he would assess his life and his decisions and his values and the conversations he'd had and whether he'd left certain relationships in conflict or tension, or he just looked at all his actions, all his attitudes, his thoughts, and he reviewed them every day and changed what was not working for the benefit of other people. That's how he became Nelson Mandela. And what we're looking at here in the Youth Campus Project is how do you become your own version of Nelson Mandela? Now, no one else can be like him. He had a unique job, a unique role in the world, but he made a difference. He changed the lives of the people around him. And you and I can change the lives of the people around us as we develop our heart and character. And the Youth Campus Project is a very simple way of making that daily investment. We've taken 22 of the characteristics of Nelson Mandela, of an elder and said, okay, we can learn these in our own lives. How do we do that? And the Youth Compass Project helps us to do that. So that's what we're doing over these 12 weeks. My aim is to help you get started. A lot of people have signed up for the Youth Compass Project, but I'm not sure how many of you have actually started doing it. And I'd really like to hear from you. You can send me an email. Tell me, have you started? If you haven't started, can you tell me what the problem is? What are the obstacles to you getting started? If you have started, tell me, how is it going? What are you learning? Share with me so that we can grow this community of young people around the world who are doing the Youth Compass Project. So I'm going to share my screen for just a moment and show you a little bit about the Youth Compass Project. And I also want to tell you, I said at the end of last week, I had a free gift. Well, I have some more free gifts at the end of this evening to share with you. So hang around and I'll share with you where you can get more free resources to help you. So let me share my screen. So the Youth Compass Project. So Masterclass week 8 is tonight and we're on challenge number 16. We're not doing all of the challenges. We're not doing all 22. What we're doing is we're picking a number of them and looking at them. Tonight, we're going to look at the subject of resilience. So how does the Youth Compass Project actually work? I go through this every week because I want to help you get started. And if you understand this, you can also help your friends to sign up and get started. So the first thing is you go to the Youth Compass website and you either go there on your own, you can go there on a smartphone, or you can go there on a laptop. I sometimes encourage you to go as a group. If one of you has a phone or one of you has some a laptop, then the group of you can get round there and sign in. So you go to the website, www.youthcompassproject.com, and you'll see this picture. And under this picture is this picture. And you see there is a white arrowhead in the middle of this picture. That is a video. Click on that video. It's only 2 minutes and 18 seconds long, so it's not long. And it will explain to you very quickly why the Youth Compass Project is so important. So watch the video is step one. When you've watched the video, underneath the video, you see this button where it says Start the Youth Compass Project. If you click on that button, it will take you to this login page. Now, the important thing is it's free. The Youth Compass Project is free for every young person in the world. That's why I want to encourage you and your friends to sign up and get started. There are many things that are for free, but this is. So you sign in. The names I put there, I've made some names up. And you put in your name, you put in an email, and then you invent a password. And once you've done that, it gets you in to the Youth Compass Project. You can then begin. And once you're in, you say the Youth Compass Project is made up of 6 different modules. The first module is a preparation module. How can you get going? Whether you do it on your own or do it with a group, whether you invite an elder to support you in that journey. There's lots of resource there in module 1. And then module 2, 3, 4, and 5, we look at these 22 different qualities. And then module 6, we say, look, how can you point your life in the right direction? And so we look at a number of key issues in module 6 to ensure that your life is pointed in the right direction. And the thing about the Youth Compass Project, it's like taking medicine. If the medicine you need just sits in a box on the table and never gets taken, it won't do you any good. If you sign up for the Youth Compass Project and you don't start it, it won't do you any good. So you look at the module, you follow through, and under each module, let's say you click on that module on perseverance, and you see there are 5 challenges under that one module. And tonight we're looking at challenge number 16. I put a red circle around it, challenge number 16. If you click on that challenge, number 16, then it will take you into this chapter and this challenge where you can do some work on that. So each of the lessons, it's got a very short video explanation where you see me explaining the challenge, and then it's got a written explanation. Now, if you're working in a group and only one of you has a phone or a laptop, then you can print off the written explanation so everybody can have a paper copy in their hands. Then the next thing is there's some questions all the time. There are exercises for you to do some thinking and reflection, and a place where you write down your answers. The Youth Compass project is a project of lifelong learning. So once you've done the Youth Compass project, that's not the end. You come back to it 6 months later and you do it all again and again. And the reason for that is we have to keep on learning. We have to keep on developing and growing our heart and character. So we'll keep on coming back to it. So that is how to get into the Youth Compass project. Now, tonight, we're going to look at that challenge on resilience. And I am delighted to welcome back Peter Waithaka from Kenya, Emerging Leaders Kenya. And I introduced you to Peter right at the very beginning. And Peter has been a great advocate of the Youth Compass project and has so much experience, so much to share that I thought I would invite him back on this issue. And part of the reason was he wrote an article recently that caught my attention. So I'm going to ask him about that. Peter, good evening.
Good evening, Trevor, and
Great.
great to see you, including each and every person in today's session. And again, thank you so much, Ivan, for the good coordination.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. So, Peter, I saw on LinkedIn, there are a number of platforms in the world, aren't they? Like Facebook and TikTok and what is it, X and whatever. And LinkedIn is a kind of business platform. I saw you wrote an article recently, and your article was called My Story of Bouncing Back, 25 Years in the Making. And I thought, wow, that sounds interesting. So I read your article. I really enjoyed it. And I wonder whether we could start by you taking your time and just telling us the story that you told in that article. And don't rush. I want to hear the whole story. Give us the story of your life in that article.
Thank you so much, Trevor. You know, there are those moments when you get a document and you look at it and you look at the journey, and then you decide it's worth sharing the journey with somebody else because maybe one might read it and resonate with it. So I finished high school 1999, and this is Isili High School with great ambitions. And by the time I was finishing, I really dreamt of one day going to university, but because of the environment that I came from, there were no support in terms of motivation, why you need to read, and majority of my friends never saw the importance of higher education. But personally, that was something that was intrinsic in me. But I didn't do well, and so after I finished high school 1999, looking around what other people are doing, young people, they were engaging in drugs, alcohol, things like that. And that is where I just found myself in addiction, in drugs, in alcohol. Then 2000 and 2001, without even thinking of it, I think I found myself in a relationship, and then, oops, a baby's there, and that is how I married. So I hadn't even planned to get married. I hadn't planned to start a relationship. and now from high school just becoming a parent and in relationship. And that is where my journey started. And to fast forward, 2002, we got our first child, 2003, second child. So all the dreams, the aspiration of me going to school were all shattered, and it was no more dream. Because for me, it was how do I put bread uh, on the table? So that became my life. Until 2005, I was very artistic, looking for employment opportunity. So there is 2004, got an opportunity to go and work at Safari Park Hotel as a dancer. And then eventually my wife, whom we had two children, got an opportunity also to work at Safari Park Hotel. And we are both young, so she was a good dancer, better than I. So two young people working at this hotel, an extra income has already started coming in, and she got a contract to work with Safari Park. And so for you to be hired with these organizations, she needed to do a medical test. And some of my friends whom I've worked with, probably they'll be hearing this story for the first time because I've never garnered the courage to speak it oftenly. So when she went and did the medical test, the way it came back in 2005, it happened to be, the result came that she was positive. When I say positive, the result came that she's HIV positive. And you see, we have already two children, and this is the information. And she was so talkative. Back then, there was stigma, discrimination of people who were HIV and AIDS. So the first people that she went spoke to were her friends. And so rumors spread around that both me and her, this is how we were. And so it was something that was so much traumatizing for us. And because she came out publicly, when I say publicly, speaking to her friends, her mother, and so every person perceived me to be so. And so life became so much difficult for us to a point whereby we had to go both for us to get tested. And when we went, got tested, apparently we were those couple called discordant couple. Discordant couples are one can become HIV positive and can never affect the other one. It amuses the doctor, the issue of discordancy, but you see, the word had already spread out that I'm positive. And you see, you can't change people's perception. So I tell people at some point, uh, even before I got tested, because it was 2005, uh, my first time getting tested, it was 2006, a year later. So for almost a period of 1 year, I stayed as if I'm also infected because you see, how can she be and I am not? So I stayed like that. And so that is how my life was until just moving forward the situation. We were living together and we know the truth and the rest of the community doesn't know the truth. And so the perception is they are waiting for us to die. Okay. So I lived in that hopeless situation whereby for me, just waking up and walking down the same community was such a hurdle for me. So the issue of education really slipped from my mind. And so I decided for me, let me raise my children until I decided to run away from the country. And one way of running away from the country is getting an international job abroad. And that is how I became an acrobat. Went, did some acrobat in Turkey for a period of 1 year. And then 2010, I got deported back to Kenya because my employer wasn't returning files. And what happened between 2009 and 2010, apparently the mother of my children died. So by the time I'm getting deported, 2010. We have 3 children. So one is for one elder one 2002, another one 2003, and another one 2007. So you can see that even the one that we got 2007, we got it because for me, for her, she was like, she rather live a short life because she had lost hope. And for me, I was like, I know there's a way you can make it. So why don't you give me a son so that I can show you that it's possible? So again, putting myself in that point of, I know we can make it. But apparently she didn't make it. And so when I came back, got deported, now with 3 children, life so hard for me. I can't feed myself. I get hosted by my sister for a period of 1 year. So 2010 to 2011, a person who is 31 years old with 3 children getting hosted with the sister for a period of 1 year. And I always thank God for having a sister like that who bore that burden. And you see, in my community, everybody still have that narrative. The wife has died. She was HIV positive. Now they are waiting also for me to die, because you can't go on telling people this is the way I am. So even by the time you are coming, Trevor, 2014 and 15, you're finding a person who is struggling with children, struggling with addiction, who doesn't have a career path, and also struggling with an identity of community. How can I be able to convince the community that this is the way I am? Yet they know that the mother of my children died positively. How can I remove myself from that? So even my form of addiction, my form of hopelessness was so huge in that nobody could tell what I was going through because it wasn't one battle. Until one lady called Monica Moire, she came and she shared what you had trained them at VegPro. And that was the first time we had emerging leaders from a person who had gone through the training. And that's why I keep on advocating that anytime you get trained, kindly share, because if that Monica Moire could not have had shared that information with us in 2014, probably I could not be here. I couldn't be working with emerging leaders. So I remember when she shared, one of the feedback we told her that we really love what you're telling us because we are more like branded, those guys, those thugs, those alcoholics. So her coming to speak to us was a sign of love. And we told her that, thank you so much. Could we also get a tester of what you shared with us? And I think when she came back, she shared that with you, but you are not available. There was a lady called Louise. You sent Louise to come to Dandora for 1 day. And all the young mothers in Dandora came to that training. And apparently I wasn't there at that training, but I mobilized because the same day, it was a burial for my grandmother. So I had traveled up country. So for me, actually, I was trained by my peers. There were those sheets that you gave them, the heart and character. There were no books. You see, nowadays we use these books, but that period of time there were those sheets, one that had a heart at the center. So that is how they trained me. And I remember you came back in 2015, and there was a training at Catholic University. We were in Dandora back then, and we still expressed, we said that we want to go to that training. And you told us there's no money, we can't get paid. But you told us if you want the training, you can organize with your team so that a bus can be taking us or a matatu from Dandora up to Catholic University. And so you did that. So for 3 days, we went to Catholic University. And I keep on again and again saying, the people that entered to Catholic University were different from the people that came out from Catholic University. Our life transformed. And that is where the awakening, my journey of going back to university in 2015 and me starting a library at Dandora, that is where it all started. Because I remember the question you asked, what legacy would you want to leave when you die?
Yes.
And there was an exercise that you are doing. What is within your community that is not there? And you will walk with somebody across the room and ask, what do I see there? What is not okay? And in my community, there was no library. And when I said that there is no library, you asked me a question, what are you going to do about it? And you see, this is a person that is still struggling with their own thing. And I said, I will start the first community library in Dandora. And you told me you have the pen. Um, if you do that, people will be able to remember you for that. And so that is how my journey started. So when I came from the training, there were things that I needed to put straight first. The first thing that I went, got tested again just to reaffirm my status. That was the first thing, because from 2006, I never got tested again till around 2015 after the training. Because I was, even this time all along living, I was like, what if they missed something? So I was still living in that mentality. Maybe they didn't do the right test. So I went back and then I found my test and it was a negative. Later on, I decided to enroll in a class, going back to university, enroll in a diploma because I hadn't reached the exact marks. I enrolled in a civic and development education diploma at Tangaza University, close to where Catholic University is. And I started, nobody paid for me. I was paying for myself through some of the things that we had trained in terms of saving. So I, I cut down my spending in terms of alcohol so that I can be able just to go back to school. So started, enrolled it. And while I did it in 2018, again, things shambled up, life crisis, children are growing, and I stagnated. And from 2018 till 2024, when I was having a conversation, my friend is here, his name is James Andare, and his friend Babji Campbell, and we both work at Emerging Leaders and two poverty mindset. Each and every time I could train, lazy thinking and unfinished thinking, I could always remind myself, yes, I mean, telling these people about lazy thinking and unfinished thinking. For me, Peter Waithaka, I have not yet finished my education. And I don't know if they can remember Andare and Babji. And I said that within this year, 2024, because it is only one project paper that is remaining, I'm going to commit myself. And I committed myself for 2 months, and I was able to graduate in 2024. But again, after graduating 2024, it took me another 1 year to go and take the certificate. So I only took the certificate 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
And when I took that certificate, that diploma certificate, I decided to write about it.
Very good. What an amazing story. Wow. What an amazing story, Peter. Thank you so much for being so honest and open about your journey. And on behalf of everyone, I just really appreciate what you've shared this evening. And it's the perfect foundation for tonight's subject of resilience. So in the light of all that you've just said, let's dig into this subject of resilience. If I said to you, from your experience then, how would you describe resilience? What do you think it means to be resilient?
Life will always knock you each and every day. So your ability of just waking up, bouncing back,
Bouncing
That
back.
for me will be bouncing back. Life has its own way of beating you up ruthlessly, but you deciding not to stay down and waking up, no matter how hard it hits you. That is what really resilience is to me.
Wow. So bouncing back, very good. And that's great. Any other thoughts around that you can develop around how you would describe to someone these elements of resilience?
Charlie, you'll always get tested. You'll
Hmm.
always get tested.
Yes.
It's like if you ever played a video game or games that children play, to go from one level to another, there is always that stage that is so difficult for you to go to the
The next
next
stage.
level.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
indeed. Yeah.
And you might remain at the same place for quite a period of time. But when you move from that stage, things becomes easier and you create that momentum knowing that I did it, I can do it again. So for me, it is those many tests that you get,
Yeah.
but you don't decide those tests to put you down. When
Yeah.
you
No,
overcome
very
them,
good.
that is
Yeah.
for me resilience.
Yeah, I think that's really good. I can think when we started this masterclass, I remember getting to the end of week 2, and we'd gone from a lot of people coming to session 1 to few people session 2, and I thought, do we give up here? Do we stop here? Do we give up? And I had to have some really difficult conversations with myself to work through why I was doing this, what it was for, who it was for, to keep myself going. And I think that for me was an example of, things happen. You get disappointments, like you say, unexpected. And I decided 2 years ago to learn the piano for the first time in my life. So I'm 68, and I decided 2 years ago to learn the piano. Well, many weeks I kind of think, oh, it's too hard, so hard. And everybody else can do this much better. And all these reasons in life. So little things, big things. Often life, as you say, is giving us the pressure to just say, do you know what? Just give up. So I love the idea of bouncing back. And I love the realism of saying, look, life is tough. Life is tough. Not, it might be tough, or it's tough for some people, or it's tough and then it stops being tough. Life is tough. And I think that mindset of realism about life is a really important factor when it comes to resilience. So, Peter, let me ask you, can you give me 3 examples from your own life of where you have shown personal resilience, resilience at work, and resilience in education? You've given us one example, big example, but just take those areas, personal, work, and education. What examples have you got in your own life of resilience?
Uh, like you see, I had an identity within my community. They know that his wife died positively, so this person is positively. So there's that identity that
Mm.
people had already placed in me. And going to the same community back and back again, because I remember when I started Leadership for Life, Leadership for Hope trainings and Leadership for Life, I still went to the same community. And so it is this overcoming shame, number
Mm.
one. And remember, personally, I told you that I got deported, staying with my sister. So I decided to start from zero again,
Mm.
starting life again. I was an acrobat, deported, and we were banned to travel abroad for 10 years. The year is 2010, and we only supposed to go back to Europe after 10 years, so 2020. So what do I do in the next 10 years? And along those 10 years, 5 of them, I had decided just to lose hope, to be a normal person within the community. So after the training, me decided I'm going to change my career path. why don't I pursue becoming a trainer or a facilitator for hope for the rest of my life? So for me, that ability of changing my personal path, and again, deciding to start from the scratch. When I say starting from the scratch is buying a bed, buying some seats. I remember by the time I only had one bed, 2012, I only had a bed and some seats. I remember my neighbor, her name is Susan, she gave me a table because I didn't have a table. And that time I was with 3 children. And I decided, with or without a mother, I'm going to stay with those children. And I did. So personally, me taking that step of starting life with my children without a mother, that's a story of bouncing back, because previously I had given up. When it comes to education, finishing education 1999, going back to school to get my first certificate. I'm talking about my first certificate, formal certificate, going back in 2015. Those are 16 years. And then graduating 2024, getting the certificate again for this diploma 2025. Actually, when I space all the years that I have had the desire of getting a certificate, it all amount to 25 years. So I tell people that my desire 25 years. And you see people just giving up, even attending a session for 3 months. And I'm like, so when it comes to education, the investment, the certificate that I have, I've invested for it for 25 years. When it comes to my work life, I always had a dream of working with a humanitarian organization. But you see, I didn't have any papers, but I have that urge. And I remember one day when we were having a training at Dandora, you were asking people, who do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And I was sitting next to a guy called Clint. His name is Clint Mbuthia. And he said he wanted to become a motivational speaker. And you said, there is more you can do apart from just becoming a motivational speaker. You can become an inspirational speaker, somebody who breathes lives to people. And from that day, when you said so, I knew that is the person that I want to become. And you never got an opportunity to ask me who I wanted to become. But when I heard you answering Clint and bringing the difference between a motivational speaker and an inspirational speaker, I said to myself, that is who I want to become. And that is something that I have labored on till officially 2021, when I started now working officially with emerging leaders. And all these other time, starting from 2015, when I was 2016, when I will do translation for you in a community, when I will do my volunteering trainings in Dandora. So I remember even by the time I started facilitating session for leadership for hope, leadership for certificate in community leadership.
Yes.
For a session, just as a motivation, I was getting paid 1,000, and I was so much comfortable with that 1,000 because it was catering for my transport here and there. And for me, the value of my contribution was more important than was what I was getting. What I didn't know is that there was a person that Peters was building, the trainer. And one day, when Steve Miles would come, he was able to see that potential in me, and he was able to mold it and build it. And today, who I am today, as a result of seed that he planted and the water, the manure that Steve put into me, I became a lead trainer at Emerging Leader.
Wow.
So that is
He's such inspiring, Such inspiring stories of resilience, Peter. I was going to ask you this next question later, but I think I'm going to ask you now is what resources do you think you need either inside of you or around you to develop resilience? Inner and outer resources.
Inner and outer resources. So uh, let me start with the inner resources.
Mm.
The issue of mindset is key. You see, the person who say he can and the person who say he can't, both of them are correct. So the I can mentality, it's a mindset.
For
It's a
sure.
positive mindset. And the person who say I can't do it, it's a negative mindset. So one of the resources that we have, it's our mindset. So investing in our mindset, number one, is very key. So that's our mindset is a resource. So the way we are using our mindset uh, can make us become resilient or can make us give up. Uh, in the life that we've lived, we have so many memories. Things that we do, things that we did, and we overcame. So those are still resources, experience. In that, I know uh, I've started. I started life from scratch zero. Even if what happens, I know I've done it. I can do it again. So that is a resource. Um, we've been talking about heart and character. eh? One of the muscles that we need to develop that I know has been so much symbolic, even today, just sharing my story of resilience is courage. So courage by itself as a muscle, eh, it really helps in terms when you want to give up. At times we don't feel as if we want to show up. I remember my first interview, and I would want you to go and look at an interview that you did to me uh, in the place I was doing the translation. And
Mogamoini.
Mugumo-
Mogamoini in Nairobi.
yes, when I look at that, the person who, my kind of English back then, I, it needed some glue to be pieced together.
Very good.
And I remember, I'm talking about resilience and courage intertwined, because I remember you invited me to come to speak to the chairman of M&S the
Yes.
time. And
I
these
did.
were, and in my community where I come from, it's Dandora, nobody speaks English. But now I need to speak English. So again, courage. I would have given up. So again, when I
Courage.
talk about courage,
Okay.
and then mentors. You see, where I am today, externally, we need mentors, and these mentors really play a major role, and that's why even in my story, I will mention people around me. They know I have a person called Trevor who is my coach. I have Steve Miles who is my mentor. And so I know without people that surround you who have walked in two ways. Number one, who have seen you done what you've done, or who see the potential in you, and the other mentors who you know that the place you want to go, they've gone through the journey, they've seen the challenges, and so despite what, you can always go and refer to them. When you spoke last time, the first meeting that when you called young people to come, they promised you 100 young people to come, and only 6 grandmother came, and you
Yeah,
still.
South Africa. Yeah.
So for me, that is resilient. When I get to hear the story like yours, I don't give up. I say, even if there are 3 young people, I'll keep on going. So
Very
I
good.
think for me, those will be
The main.
the resources
Yeah.
that
Very good.
at times we have that
Okay.
can build our muscle.
Just very quickly, where do you see the lack of resilience in young people around you? And where do you see the best opportunity for young people to learn resilience these days?
There are four key areas that are more visible, especially to young people, like in areas of where they lack resilience in terms of jobs. At times, they just want to be the country director in 1 month.
Mm.
They don't know that along it, uh, there are things that they need to learn. So they just want to skyrocket. And if it doesn't happen the way they want, they give up. Even in just writing CV, they are not getting a job.
Mm.
Another area, because of the rate of unemployment, they want to start big businesses. They want to run supermarkets. And so they're not willing to nurture their small businesses to grow. That's an area that I see resilience not really coming out. Even in terms of just relationship, when one relationship goes sour, like especially, I don't know, in terms of other countries, I'm hearing that young men nowadays don't want to marry, and I think it's the issue of resilience. So even in terms of just relationship, uh,
Oh,
because of the previous hurt or maybe a certain disappointment, and even in terms of just education, their career path,
right.
you know what you want, but the investment, when you think about how far you need to go, you don't. Uh, you just give up when you look at
Mm.
maybe the years or the month it might take you. So, what was the second question?
Well, it's just where do you see the problem and where do you see the opportunity for young people to develop resilience?
Um, there are many opportunities. There are many opportunities. Like you see, investing in the Youth Compass project from start to finish, it is a demonstration of resilience.
Oh, for sure.
It is such an investment. You see, even just reading one book, which is 300 pages, and finishing that book, it's resilience.
Good.
Enrolling uh, in any form of training and finishing it, despite of the many challenges or other opportunities that are there. So the opportunity in terms of podcast, listening to podcast, there are materials that we can read, okay? There are areas that can help you grow in terms of resilience, and they are there. It's only a matter of us identifying them
Yeah,
or starting with one.
very good. Peter, I'm going to stop the interview there. It's been inspired, really inspirational. And I think everyone would agree. You've shared so much, so honestly, and so richly. I'm deeply, deeply grateful to you. So thank you for giving up the time and the wisdom and for staying in this game of Youth Compass Project and helping us just keep on investing. So great. So thank you very much. Deep appreciation. Lots of
Thank you
lots
so
of
much.
love and applause coming across the screen.
Deeply humbled. Thank you
There,
so much.
listen. Great. I'm humbled. I'm humbled. As I normally do, I'm just going to share some thoughts of summary. And let me just give you this quote from Nelson Mandela. He was talking about apartheid in South Africa, and he was talking about some of the great mentors, if you like, in his life, the role models of resilience. He said, apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. He said, the decades of oppression and brutality had an unintended effect. And he said it was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulus, and the Robert Sobukwes. Now, those three men and a whole other list that he names were the great leaders of the anti-apartheid movement. They were amazing, amazing leaders. And what he was saying, those leaders were produced through the difficulty. He said the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect. It produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulus, the Robert Sobukwe's of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. He said, perhaps it is the depths of such oppression that creates the heights of such character. So life is tough for all of us. The issue of resilience is, how do I use that? How do I turn it into heart and character? So what is resilience? Well, resilience, what we're seeing is it's how you approach life's difficulties. I guarantee within the next 24 hours, you will have difficulties. Things will not go as you hope they will. The question is, how will you keep going? One very famous leader, and I always said, people used to say to me within emerging leaders, you know, what's the secret of emerging leaders' growth? Because emerging leaders started with me training about 6 ladies in one of the townships in Zambia, and it's now been in 25 countries. You say, what was the secret? I say the secret was we kept going. We kept going. And if you remember Dickens, who spoke to us a few weeks ago, do you remember Dickens, the head of World Vision in Kenya and Ghana? I spoke to Dickens when Emerging Leaders was 10 years old. I said, I'm really struggling, Dickens, because we're not where I wanted to be and things are really challenging and I don't know whether we're going fast enough. And he just smiled and laughed at me. And when he'd stopped smiling and laughing, he said, come back to me in 10 years' time and we'll have this conversation. He said, you've hardly begun. And he was right. He was absolutely right. All these years on. And the key was keep going. Keep going. This famous leader once said, when you find yourself in hell, keep walking. Now that is resilience. Now this picture in the middle there, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. This is a huge life-size balloon. And in the bottom of the balloon, there is sand. And if you punch that balloon, it gets knocked over. But what it does, because of the weight in the bottom, it bounces back. And that's why I asked Peter about resources. Because resources are what is in you that helps you to bounce back when things are hard. There's a very famous poem by Maya Angelou. She said, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may tread on me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. That is resilience. So resilience needs a toolkit. That's why I'm asking again, Peter, about resourcing. Resources is simply what's the toolkit that we need to develop in life to develop resilience. And I've made a list there. I asked Peter. Peter talked about mindsets, memories, courage, and mentors. Well, I've written purpose. If you have a life purpose, it will keep you going. If you learn how to mentor yourself, it will keep you going. If you live a balanced life, because we often get knocked over because we're exhausted. Mentors, courage, inspiration, perspective, humility, muscle memory, intention, vision, leading your own life, discipline, love, forgiveness. Now, to the sharp among you, do you notice anything about that list? Do you notice anything about that list? Let me tell you. That list there are most of the challenges in the Youth Compass project. So why do you need to do the Youth Compass project? Why do you need to actually begin and do it? Because you will learn In each of these lessons, these challenges, you will learn how to develop the toolkit of resilience. That's what the Youth Compass Project will give you. All of those things. Now, I said I'd give you some more resources. And when we looked at discipline, I showed you this one. I said there's a book for you for free to download. You click on the Challenge 13 Discipline Challenge and flick down through the writing to where it says exercise. It says you can download a free copy of my book, Doing the Right Thing. So you can get that for free. But let me show you something else. If you go on my personal website, so that's www.trevorwaldock.net. So I put a circle around that website. And then one of the tabs on that website says Youth Resources. So you click on that and you get a whole page of resources. There is a whole, where it says Mentors Toolkit, I've made a whole load of talks for you about how to learn to be a mentor to other people and how to mentor yourself. It's there and it's for free. A youth manifesto is a whole load of talks about how you can create something out of your life. Are you wondering about what to do with your future? There's a whole resource there on the 7 questions you can ask to create your future. So all of these resources are for free. And I'm offering them to you, and I want you to be missionaries and offer all of these resources to your friends. Offer the Youth Compass Project to your friends and help us to just grow a movement of heart and character amongst the young people of the world so that you become the generation that recovers meaningful eldership within your generation. So we're right at the end of the evening. Next week, I have a very special guest again. His name is Martin Kalunga Banda, and he comes from Zambia. Now, Martin is a real statesman in the world of leadership. He's worked with leaders all over the world. He worked with the Zambian president as an advisor. He is a great man, truly enriched. And when I told him about the Youth Compass Project about a year and a bit ago, he was so excited, so excited. And I'm excited that we've managed to get him to come and do an interview with us next week. Because he's so busy, we are going to do the interview right at the start. So on the 1/2 of the hour when we begin, we will begin the interview. So don't be late, get there early and hear this amazing interview with Martin Kalunga Banda. So thank you for coming this evening. Thank you for being with us. Any comments you want to leave in the chat box, we will read. Any questions, you can email myself or Ivan. Yeah. And we will share and talk them through. And once again, thank you to Ivan and the team, who are amazing.
Trevor, before you go, I wanted to show you a video. I don't know if you can see my video.
I can see your video. Yes, I can. Yeah.
There's a gentleman called Patrick Bongole. Just did this. Sent me this video to show.
In terms of saving, so I cut down my spending in terms of alcohol so that I can be able just to go back to school.
Oh my goodness!
So started.
How many people? How many people are in that room?
Well, I did.
Put on your microphone and share. How many people in that room, Patrick?
Again,
Patrick, how many people are in that room?
A little above a dozen. So we have a school. So some of those who stay with us are here. And thank you so much, Trevor, for hosting our brother. I think Peter's testimony made our day.
So you're meeting with this group?
We are in PG outside Kampala in a place called Mbazi Modoma.
What an inspiring evening, everybody. Hearing Peter talking and then seeing Patrick with his group. Hello, so thank you, everybody, and look forward to seeing you on time next week. And invite your friends. Do what Patrick's done. Get them in front of a television screen or something, a computer screen, and invite your friends. So thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your evening.